Let's talk about the planners I used in 2023. In this channel, the one, if you follow me, you saw the most was my bullet journal, but my planning system for 2023 actually included this Hobonichi Weeks Mega and the Passion Planner. So, and there were some late additions in November and December, but I'll talk about those in a moment. Okay, in 2023, I tried to replicate what I worked with in 2022 because I was very happy with my system by the end of 2022. By the end of 2022. I worked with many different notebooks that year, and it was kind of a year of experimenting, and by the end of 2022 I kind of found what really worked for me, and it was a mix of my bullet journal, a notebook for time tracking that had a layout that I could use for time tracking, and my Hobonichi Weeks kind of as a catch-all record keeping place. So in 2023 I wanted to do the same. I have my bullet journal, my Hobonichi Weeks Mega, and I decided to try the Passion Planner for time tracking. I have a review of this one and many videos where I explain how I work with time tracking, and I have mentioned this before many times. For me, time tracking is not so much about being productive, but rather about being mindful with my time and how I want to spend my time. And the goal is to feel like I had time for myself and I had time to do the things that make me happy. So that's how I work with time tracking. I don't do it all the time. I have periods, it goes up and down, but I like having a place where I can do it and I don't have to do the timeline, anything. I just log my day. And this is what I worked with in 2023. It's very similar to what I did in my Hobonichi Cousin. Did this work? Time tracking does work for me. I do like doing this, but I guess I'm just so used to Hobonichi and the Tomoe River paper. I was working with this, but I was missing this. That's why for 2024 I decided to go back to a Hobonichi Cousin. Don't get me wrong, this is a great planner. I loved the weekly quotes. I love the monthly reflection pages. It's a beautiful planner. The paper is, I think, 120 grams. It's thick paper, so you can pretty much use anything you want on these pages. And I did have fun. I did enjoy it. All their covers are absolutely stunning. They're beautiful. This one has these little birds, and I guess this is kind of like a cherry blossom. It's gorgeous. But yeah, I'm too used to my Hobonichis and my thin paper, and yeah, while the system still works for me, I prefer working with this kind of planner. So that's... Now for my Hobonichi Weeks, I always like having at least one of these planners as part of my stack every year. I've been loving the mega versions that have tons of pages in the back, so I can use them however I want. And this year the way I used it changed a lot during the year. It started as record keeping, then it switched to notes, then a record of news that happened every day, every week, then for my channel, then back to record keeping. So this one I think is the one that kind of changed the most the way I use it. I don't regret having it, even though it wasn't as important to me this year as it was in 2022. And the main difference is that in 2022 I went through so many notebooks, well, not like many notebooks as my bullet journals, that this was the planner that kept, everything organized, my catch-all. This was my brain in 2022. That didn't happen this year because my bullet journal was everything I could hope for in a planning system, and I think that's a good thing. So I guess this could still work in the future, but for now I am so happy with my planning system that this year I didn't get one of these as my reference notebook, because I found that if I work well with my bullet journal, this becomes my reference notebook. So this became irrelevant, at least this use of the Hobonichi Weeks, if that makes sense. I do recommend these planners. I love them. I'm obsessed with these ones, really. And I got a Hobonichi Weeks Mega this year, but it's a reference a reference journal in a different way, I guess. The way I'm going to use it is heavily inspired by Petra. I'm going to link her in the description below. She uses her Hobonichi Weeks as a tarot journal. So I like to study archetypes. I think anyone who's interested in storytelling should study archetypes. Carl Jung writes a lot about archetypes, Joseph Campbell. So they're very interesting, and if you want to study stories, legends, myths, storytelling in general, archetypes are kind of, I guess, essential to understand. So I decided to use that particular Hobonichi Weeks Mega as that kind of reference notebook, not for planning. That's why I don't have it here, because I'm not using it for planning. I actually covered the dates. The thing is, I really like this paper. I really like the size. Everything about the way these notebooks are made, I love it. It just works for me, and that brings me to my bullet journal. This year I worked with a Stellogy notebook. This is A5, this is B6. I have many videos where I show you my setups for every month, the setup of these two bullet journals, and this was just chef's kiss, pure joy. I actually have a tour of this notebook also in my channel. I use this as my kind of future planning / vision log. I pretty much write, yes, things that will happen in the future, dated things, but also things I would like to see happen. Kind of, for example, a trip. This trip didn't happen in December, it's going to happen in January. So this one is coming up. So things I would like to do or get done, but when the month arrives, I see if it is possible to make it happen, or if I should move it forward, or if I just scratch it. Then are my monthlies, and they haven't changed. This is how I did my monthlies in 2022, 2023, and still 2024, because this just works for me. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Yeah, this just really works for me. I like seeing my appointments and my events in a list form. I use this calendar for holidays and birthdays. That way, love this. So this one went from December 2022 through July 2023. And yeah, as you can see, I used almost all of it. Yeah. So this was the first half of 2023, and I decided to size down for the second half. This one goes from August through November. Same layout, same format. My monthlies are exactly the same. My weeks, I change them, if not every month, maybe every 2 months. I adjust my weekly views to reflect my workload, how many things I have going on. I love the way I do my dailies. On 2023 I used stickers That was the first year I used dated stickers. In 2024, I'm going back to just write the date by hand. I enjoy that more. Or I guess I missed it because I did enjoy working with the stickers. And it's very simple, just pen and paper, maybe some stickers here and there, but planning, memory keeping, and yeah, so here I have a record of everything that happened during the year. This is why my Hobonichi weeks as a record keeping notebook became kind of irrelevant because I didn't want to repeat information. Did this work? Absolutely. I am very happy with the way I am working with my bullet journal. The only thing that changed in 2024 is that I decided to go back to a Leuchtturm. So, but it's the same layout. I still have my lunar calendar at the beginning. I added a vision board here. My future log is still the same, and my monthlies. I started this year feeling kind of overwhelmed, so I didn't have the energy to think about a theme and, you know, paint it, draw it, whatever. I just added these cat stickers, which I think are super cute. And I also did some changes to my January cover. I had done this dragon. 2024 is the year of the dragon, and I wanted to do my, like a Mexican version, which is the Quetzalcoatl, which is a feathered serpent. I think it's essentially a dragon. I have mentioned this before. The thing is, when I first did this, it was just with pen, and it was looking good, I think. But then I felt this itch to color this, and I hated this. I think it's too bright. I don't like the way his face turned out. So I ripped a page from an old book and I did a new design as the cover of the month, and I am very happy with this. I actually love the way this turned out, and I think for the coming months this is going to be the style for my covers. I'll get a page from an old book and then have a little painting with the name of the month. I think that works. Then I have my cycle tracking and my weeklies. So it's pretty much the same. The only thing that changed is the brand of the notebook. I missed working with my hardcover notebooks, having my postcard as the face of my notebook, and I am super happy with the way this looks. But looking back on what I used in 2023, I guess the biggest lessons is I'm happy that I found a system that really works for me with my time tracking, my record keeping, and the way I plan. Because I don't know, it felt very seamless keeping track of things, of the things I want to do. Planning felt very easy in 2023, and it's been feeling very seamless and easy this year. And I think that's because I found a system that really, really works for me. Now for this brand, would I recommend it? Definitely. Any of these brands, actually. This is very thin paper. It's more on the white side. It's not as creamy as Leuchtturm or the Hobonichi Weeks. I love this shade of paper. I was super happy with this notebook. The only thing is that I missed my hardcover notebooks. It would be wonderful if Stalogy worked with, some hardcover editions. That would be fantastic. But this is what we have, and I enjoyed it. I had fun with these notebooks. I may go back to them in the future because I truly enjoyed writing in here. And I am very excited about my lineup for this year. There's a video, you can find it on my channel. But the system is still the same. I work with a Hobonichi cousin for time tracking, and memory keeping. This is where I plan everything. And I added some journals. Oh, now that I mentioned that, I did mention that there were 2 late editions in 2023, and those were these 3 notebooks. In, what was it? Late September, I got this Moleskine. This is a very outdated. This is a recycled Moleskine planner. This one is from 2014. I used it as a journal. And I started to be more playful in here with my planning style, with the way I journal. I just had fun on these pages. And I loved this very kind of messy, I guess, layout. So during November and December, I kind of played a little bit with my planning. So this one I started to work less and less with this one. On November, it's mostly record keeping because I was planning in these 2 notebooks. I'm still using this. I actually decided to get another pocket Moleskine for my everyday carry, and this is my, planning when I'm out and about. Love this. So November, I incorporated this in my planning. So my bullet journal, I stopped using it so much for my weekly planning. I used it for my monthly and daily record keeping, and I had fun with these 2 notebooks. And then on December, I decided to see if the same layout could work with a Leuchtturm. So I went to my stack of notebooks and I brought out this one. And I did the same kind of weeklies. And I mentioned that I think in the video where I showed this notebook, I said that this is white paper, but it's blank paper. It looks slightly more white than the other notebooks, but I'm wondering if that's because it doesn't have a grid or anything. So maybe it makes it look more white, but it's kind of ivory or cream-ish, the shade of this paper. It doesn't have lines or anything. It has this guideline for writing, but I stopped using it. I just, I just wrote by hand. And I'm still using it as a sketchbook because I wanted to start 2024 with this bullet journal. Anyway, I hope this wasn't confusing and all over the place. So this is what I used in 2023. Mostly my bullet journal, Instalogies, record keeping, and I guess all of these were kind of like a catch-all, have fun with the process type of notebooks. So I hope you saw some ideas that work for you. I love hearing back from you. If you have any questions, comments, ideas, recommendations, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe. There's an upcoming video where I show you the journals I used in 2023. I thought I should do that on a separate video, otherwise it would be too long. So stay tuned for that. The journals I used in 2023. And I need to do a video on my reading journal. I think it's been a long time since the last time I did a video on my reading journal. Also stay tuned for that, so subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss them, and I'll see you in the next one.